Man, it's a beautiful day here in Chicago. It's like 72 degrees. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of video editing to do. But I want to chat with you guys first and clean this tank. Let's see how many viewers we have. 12. All right, that's all right. Maybe if I had breasts, we'd have more than that. YouTube is sexist, just so you know. In all fairness, I also didn't give you guys a heads up as to a water change happening. If you want to hang out, maybe I'll do this every Sunday. We'll go back to the live streams. I know I keep promising that. I've got just a standard siphon. You know, I could use, you know, a pump and just pump the water out, and I used to do that, and that's cool, but if you do that, you can't siphon the sand, you can't vacuum the sand, so I'm just going to use this. You might see the Fowlery Tang attack this a little bit. He doesn't like this in his house. He's become a little more aggressive. By the way, I love the way the tank looks with no lids on it, but I don't trust these guys. The clowns will jump out. So, you put this end in the 5-gallon. Alright? You guys know this. You know how to do saltwater aquarium stuff. Start the siphon. They're all hiding in the corner. Now the sand is just heavy enough where it won't come up. Some of it's coming out of the tube just a little bit. And if that's the case, you just crimp this hose a little bit and it cuts it off. Hey, there's a Naso. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? I saw a lot of fish crap on the bottom floating around, so I got that. So just crimp the hose to you know what I forgot to do? Totally forgot to turn the return pumps off. Alright. I turn off the return pumps and the protein skimmer when I do this. So, as you guys know, probably, I was thinking about, look at all the dirt coming out. I was thinking about, and then also when I vacuum, I like to keep the siphon over the sand bed, just instilled in one place. I meant to say still, but I just said instilled. That way it keeps all the dirt inside the tube, and it doesn't let it flow through the aquarium. So I'm not stirring it up. I actually may not stir the well, I'll stir the sand bed a little bit, I lied. Also, one thing to remember, keep an eye on your 5-gallon tank, because I have a tendency to concentrate on the sand bed or talk to you guys, and this thing almost overflowed. That would not be good. Ask me how I know that. Damn, it's nice out there. I have to get out there later, man. Hey Ed, what's up, dude? I just took a step behind the camera, which is my phone. Doing a little water change action. Doesn't the tank look good? Damn. Not for long. I'm going to stir up some of the sand bed. which a lot of people say don't stir up the. Here he comes. Fowlery looked like he wanted to attack it. So I lost the video stream because somebody called. Sorry about that. And I did 5 gallons water change. Now I'm doing the second 5 gallons water change for a total of 10. I do 10 every weekend. Damn, this tank looks good. I'm proud of it. And I don't dose anything either. People say, why don't you have this reactor or that reactor? I don't like dosing anything. I like to keep it as natural as possible. I got my 10 gallons. Dump this out, I'll be right back in the neighbor's yard. Alright, so now I'm going to fill the tank with 10 gallons. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to fill this jug up with 10 gallons and replace. Tank looks really good. Let me get this hose out of here. Alright, I'm back with some of the 5 gallons. Gotta get some more water. Alright guys, I'm back. So once I'm done doing this, we're gonna do just, a little hangout session. We'll just kind of hang out. I'll just keep the camera on the tank. The tank is looking really good. I'll be back with more water. Alright guys, sorry for the wait. I had to fill up another 5-gallon jug with water, but I'm back. You know, remember in my older videos I would wheel out the 15-20 gallon Rubbermaid huge container. I would just put a, you know, return pump in it and just hose it back into the tank. I love doing that and it's faster, but now I have to make 3 trips with these 5-gallon jugs to fill this tank because ever since we got Leia, the German Shepherd, like a few months ago, we keep the kitchen gated up. So whether or not that gate is open or not, there's only a narrow opening to get through the thing, and the Rubbermaid container doesn't fit. So now, until that gate goes away, I gotta lug these jugs through the gate. There was almost a "that's what she said" in there, but I wasn't gonna waste a perfectly good "that's what she said" on something like that. Alright, I hate doing this. Fucking splashing. I hate these damn jugs. Fucking everything's getting wet. Alright, I got the towel on the floor. I'm going to set this here. Of course, I don't have another towel, but whatever. Alright, now, I'm going to show you guys. I got this. And I'm going to do something cool with it. Take you guys over here. See, this is kind of cool. Hold on. Let me give this phone some power. I'm streaming off the phone. So I just did a 10-gallon water change. And now I'm going to show you this. Yeah, Gary, yeah, I know. The jugs, they suck. But the reason why I'm doing it is we've got the kitchen gated up, and I make the water in the laundry room, which is off the kitchen. And the kitchen has got a gate on it because of the German Shepherd. I can't roll that large Rubbermaid container through the gated area. The gate open or not, it's just too narrow. So for the next few months or so, I gotta, you know, I mean, she's trained already, but whatever. Can't fit it through, and I'm going back to that way. So anyway, what I wanted to show you guys here with the Overflow, I don't know if you do this, but I got this metal scraper. It's made really well, and you can add extensions to it by unscrewing the middle there. So yeah, I know, she won't be. You know, the main reason why we do it is because we separate her from Jack, because Jack is blind and he's 14. They get along excellent, but sometimes Jack needs his peace and quiet, and that's why we keep her in the kitchen, so they can just be separated, because she always wants to play. So what I'm going to do with this thing, I'm going to stick it in the Overflow and just do one of these. I'm just going to rotate it fast like a blender. And I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it picks up all the sludge. Of course, it would help if I turn the power heads on. I'm sorry, the return pumps. So the water gets sucked out, and then this garbage will be filtered. Yeah, look at all that. This is just from 1 week. I stir this up every week. Kind of thinking about putting a mini power head in here. You guys ever thought about using your overflows to put like bio pellets in here with a mini power head? That was my idea. Who needs a reactor, right? could you just put the pellets in here and then put like a mesh screen over the intake? But I was gonna get like a mini power head so it constantly churns the stuff on the bottom so it does not stay on the bottom. What about that idea? So I like to run this rod, and you can see all the waste getting sucked up through the column. Just kind of move it around. I don't know how dirty your overflows are, but mine aren't too bad because I do this once a week. And when the return pumps are activated again after the water change, you can see the stuff getting sucked right up. You can't see it, but I can. There it goes. It'll be filtered out. Yeah, Rodney, what's up, man? You should clean your overflow out because, I mean, look at all this stuff. This is actually pretty clean, but when you move this stick around, this is all uneaten food and fish waste. And it's just sitting on the bottom of your overflow. Let it get stirred up and let it get sucked out through the column. It'll hit your filtration media and your protein skimmer. Get that stuff out of your tank. Yeah, this is actually clean. If you have a lot of fish crap back there, dude, do this. I think I'm gonna buy, I've got the 2 overflows obviously, one on each side, and I think I'm gonna, you know, get a really tiny, the lowest power head that I can, and just suction cup it to the glass, pointing at the wall of the overflow, at the bottom of the tank. That way it's blowing a small water current off the wall and cycling that crap constantly, and it'll be lifted out of the column all the time. I think that's a good idea. I never did it. What you could also do maybe with that, like I said a few minutes ago, is put some biopellets in there if you're a biopellets fan, or any kind of other nitrate media to get the nitrates out of the water. But nothing that's going to trap the fish crap. So that's one reason I didn't put any rocks back here. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I dose the pox. Thanks to Will Santiago. Check out his channel. That dude gave me a Amazon gift card and recommending I should use it to buy no pox. So I'm going to show you guys how I dose that now. I'm going to make a video for it in the future, but I'll show you live. I got Coraline algae growing on the PVC, so I'm just going to get some of that off so it gets through the tank. Look at there's all so much crap back here. I can't stand it. Man, just be gentle with this because you don't want to crack your glass. Because I'm using a metal rod with a little scooper on it. This is actually used for cleaning the glass, which I'm doing some of that now. But I just like to spin it around and get some of this waste off the bottom. I think a small power head is in my future though. I'll put one on one side. And as you guys can see, I've got my heater in my overflow. I don't like to put anything in the sump because if you're working in the sump, you move around, that thing gets cracked, your fish are gonna fry. I'm also thinking of ways. I've been doing a lot more reading on people's tanks getting fried. You know, we spend all this money, time, and care in our aquariums, and then our fish die because these glass heaters develop a crack. As soon as water touches that, they're dead because they're electrified in the water column. You can get a grounding probe, and that's cool, but I'm thinking of better ways. There's got to be some heater on the market, and I'm looking into it, where I can put it in here in the overflow that is not, you know, meant for fish tanks, but it's meant for underwater. Something that's maybe sealed, something that won't crack, you know what I mean? These are the Aheim Jaeger, however you say it. German, Aheim, whatever. I'm German, but I can't speak it. Or pretend that I can. So that's good enough for now. I'll do the other side when I'm not live because I can't really get back there and film at the same time. Alright guys who tuned in, basically what I'm doing is I'm just doing a water change, and I'm also cleaning the overflow right now. I'm just knocking out all the garbage, all the fish waste, stirring it up. Someone's yelling at me. Hey, this is a free show. I do what I want. This was never meant to be a show. This was meant to be a cleaning. So you will see things on my time. Alright, I'll dose it. Maybe I should stir the sand bed. Yeah, I'll stir the sand bed first. Let's delay the no-pox for now. I just want to show you guys. Stirring the sand bed. This thing is meant to clean the glass. I'm just going to kind of spin it like a drill. And the fowlery doesn't like that. He's going to go after the rod. He's also going after food. But you can see how this stuff is getting kicked up in the sand bed. I'm just going to kind of gently rake it. If you got a deep sand bed, this could be dangerous because you're releasing nitrates into the water column. My sand bed is only an inch deep. I'm going to keep the sand bed. Another thing you can do is go in here with a turkey baster every couple days and just blow water into the sand bed, releasing the dirt and the fish waste. I'm not going to do that right now, but just to let you know, this is something I'm going to do because I don't have a deep sand bed. I just want to cultivate it enough to where it gets evened out and it releases some of the nasty stuff so it can be taken up in the sump by my mechanical filtration, which is replaced every 3 days, knot sock sumps, and my protein skimmer. See how it's releasing all that nasty stuff? Make sure your water's oxygenated if you do this. Point your power heads at the surface of the water because you don't want this stuff getting released into your water column, hurting your fish. If you have a deep sand bed, I don't recommend doing this, but there's that. Now I'm going to dose the no-pox that was given to me through Amazon gift card by Will Santiago. Check out his channel. He was so cool to give me this. See, the water column looks a little foggy already. So here we go. So I'll do a video on this later on. But anyway, what I'm going to dose now is the no-pox by Red Sea. I really love Red Sea products. I've tried a lot of products. Their products to me are the best. But we'll see. So this is to get the nitrates and the phosphates down in the aquarium. I have a nitrate issue, as most people do. Nitrates are the last in the chain. As you guys know, I'm going to say this for people who don't. It starts with ammonia. They go pee. Ammonia is broken down by the bacteria in the water. And ammonia comes from pee, them actually breathing, fish waste and all that. So doing water changes will get rid of the nitrates. However, tang fish are messy and I have a lot of tangs. I would sugar dose 1 teaspoon for every 60 gallons directly in the sump daily. That worked great. But I'm going to try this, and this is how you dose it. Oh, by the way, one more time. I had this Microbacter 7. This did absolutely nothing. Whatever. So this is easy. This comes with instructions, but in a little booklet. Basically, for my tank size, and I like it because they give you a little cup with milliliters on the side. Really easy to dose. This stuff smells like turpentine. Very, very potent. But you're going to dose, for my greater than 10 nitrates, it says to dose 3 milliliters for every 25 gallons. Alright? For the first week. So 25 gallons, 125 gallon aquarium, it's 15. So 15 milliliters It's like right there at the bottom. This stuff will last quite a while, so let me raise this camera. This stuff smells exactly... Yeah, Gary, I'm not going to get a chiller. I've never had a problem with the water temperature being cooler. I want to keep it as basic as possible. I don't like to have a lot of things in my tank. I have a protein skimmer and that's it. And the rotor tube. That's it for mechanical filtration. So we're going to dose 15 milliliters because it's 3 milliliters based on the nitrates I have in my tank. 3 milliliters of this potent stuff for every 25 gallons. So it's 15. And that's it. Small amount of the no-pox stuff. I'm just gonna... I love that it comes with a... I know it comes with... I love that it comes with a measuring container. I'm just gonna dump it in the tank. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Now they say once you get your nitrates in control, like 5... You're reading 5 or less on a test. Then dose 1. Wait, let me see. 1/3 of what you were dosing every day. Of course, you might go every other day. You know. Will said he's using this stuff and it lasts a long time. Thank God, because this hobby's expensive. You know. It says highly effective, complete control of nitrates and phosphates, promotes coral growth and coloration, and Will Santiago that is, he said his tank looks really clear as well. So if this is going to work better than sugar, I'll get one of these bottles, you know, once every couple months. I think Will said his is going on like 4 or 5 months and it's still lasting. So I'll dose this. I'll see how expensive it gets. Sugar dosing for me works absolutely awesome. But once I get my nitrates under control, like 5 or less, through a test, because right now I'm like at 20 or 30, I'll dose just 5 mils instead of 15 every day. And then I'll do it every other day. And after a week, I'll test that. So that's what's going on with that. I'm going to put this back in the box. Thank you, Will, again for this. Will sent me a gift card through Amazon. Totally killer of him. Really nice of him. Thank you so much, Will Santiago. Check out his channel. So I'm going to put this on the tank and we can talk for a short bit while I have coffee. Ah, that looks like garbage. So tell me about your guys' tanks. What are you guys doing? What have you been up to? I'm just going to keep the camera on here for a few minutes so you guys can see the tank and the fish. It looks better in real life. I don't know how well this is coming over on my iPhone, but maybe I'll do a hangout session with the iPhone when I do a water change. Again, I just do like 10 gallons. Oh, nice, Pete. That's awesome. Okay. So how do you keep, let me just answer the first question. How do you keep nitrates lower after you dose with the no-pox from Red Sea? That's a good question. A lot of people believe that the, Red Sea or sugar dosing or vodka dosing or anything that you dose to keep nitrates lower should be done as a last resort, and I agree with that. They say that you should, first and foremost, do water changes vacuum your sand bed, don't feed your fish a lot. You do things like that to keep nitrates lower. And I agree with that. Now, I have a lot of tang fish. As you can see, tang fish go to the bathroom a lot. And as we all know, a saltwater aquarium is nothing but a gorgeous toilet. They pee, they go diarrhea, they eat waste from the food rotting. It all is in this beautiful toilet. So it's going to take more than 10 gallons from a 125 gallon aquarium to get rid of these nitrates. A protein skimmer will help. Moving your sand bed a little bit will help. And, you know, vacuuming your sand bed will help. I vacuum it every weekend. But sometimes that's not enough. So once you do that, you can have all the maintenance in the world, and I'm on top of this tank a lot. But I have a lot of tang fish, and they go to the bathroom a lot. Plus, just them breathing creates ammonia in the tank. Alright? So everything creates this ammonia, and it breaks down into nitrites to nitrates. And there's food hidden in the rocks, fish, crap hidden in the rocks. So I got to go in there with a turkey baster and baste it out of there. So yeah, in the end, if it's difficult for you, you got to dose the no-pox just to keep it in check. Do what you can in the front end to keep it in check. And then if that's not good enough, you've done all these great things, you're vacuuming the sand bed, you're doing your water changes weekly. Some people don't do water changes weekly. Maybe they have less fish than you do or smaller fish than you do. I like to vacuum out and churn up the garbage in the overflows. If that doesn't work, man, no pox or dose sugar a little bit every day or every other day. To answer someone else's question, this is a 125 gallon aquarium. It's 6 feet long. I love it. I started out with a 28 gallon, and then within 6 months or less, actually a few months, I went to a 75. I love that tank. I knew it was too small. Got the fowlery tank. It was too small. I knew I wanted a bigger tank. I went to the 125. I love it. Good question, Rodney. Yeah, this tank is a 125 gallon on its own. And it's 6 feet long. And the sump is I always forget, it's a 20 gallon eShop sump that I got. 20 or 25 gallon cheap eShop's sump. And I'll show that to you now. And I got this when I had my 75 gallon. That's all it is. It's just a simple box with a couple chambers. I'll show you a close-up. Can't go closer than that. It's just a simple box. Yes, good question, Rodney. I'm dosing the 125 because I'm not going to go crazy figuring out, you know, how many cubical feet and all this. So this is a 125, but of course, minus the rock and the 1 inch of sand. I'm really good at math, but I'm not going to figure it out. I just roughly figured 125 gallons right here, plus 25 gallons in the sump, which there's nothing in my sump but a protein skimmer. Let's just say minus 30 for the rock, just guessing. I just said screw it, let me just do 125. So yeah, to be safe, you could dose, you know, 100 or 125. As you can see, I don't have much rock. I don't like a lot of rock in my tanks because I have the bigger fish. And I want them to have more swimming room. My rocks are in the middle, actually. They're not up against the glass for a couple of reasons. For one, I like to have space to clean the glass in the back. There's about 6 inches in the back clearance, sometimes 3 inches, depending how far the larger rock goes in the back. And then in the front, same thing. 6 inches, 3 inches, more so 6. So they can swim around the rocks and through the rocks. And this is also good because it allows for a lot more water flow. I don't want to have rocks stacked on top of each other because I don't want to create places where food and fish crap can just settle where you can't get to it. So that's why I set the rock up in the center with a long column. They can swim behind it and in front of it. And there's a lot more water flow as well. I'd actually like to stack the rocks higher, but you know, with the coral on it, there's not many places for the coral to rest on the rock because of the rock pieces that I have. But that's fine. This is enough rock for me. I might want to add a rock in the corner, but because fish tend to go to the washroom in the corners of the tanks more, it's a fact. And when I siphon out the sand on a weekly water change, there's so much dirt and muddy water and garbage that comes up from the corners here compared to the front and the back. There's really nothing ever in the back. They do their waste droppings in the corners. So I don't really want to put rocks there. I might put some rock here as long as it doesn't obstruct the little caverns that I made for them to swim in and out of. So that's that. As you can see, these guys are all pretty chill. This is how they are all the time. Everybody gets along. This is how fish should look. They shouldn't be freaking out. They shouldn't be brushing up against the sand or the rocks. If they do, it's a sign of parasites. Oh, I know what I can do now. Let me set ours up as... Oh, good. Tell her thanks. What I'm going to do now is feed these guys so you guys can see. I'm going to step away and I'm going to put some more bok choy on the leaves down there because I didn't feed them last night. I was busy working on stuff, so I'm going to feed them now. So I'll put that up there and I'll talk with you guys still so you guys can see these guys feed. Again, I really wish I didn't have tops on the tank. I love the topless tank so much. Plus it allows a lot more light in, but I'm afraid they're going to jump out. I know my clownfish would jump out because they're always at the surface of the water. I did get some netting from Bulk Reef Supply, which I'm going to, you know, put up there. So let me step away for a minute. I'm going to get some bok choy. They're waiting to eat. I'm going to put it right there. You guys can watch them eat as I'm talking to you. I'll be right back. Okay. Alright guys, I'm back. I wanted to show you what I feed the tangs mainly. All I ever feed is Rod's food and bok choy and collard greens. It's really cheap. I can never remember the name. I think this is collard greens. Or is it bok choy? I think this is collard greens. Thanks, Larry. Good to see you, dude. I love that, dude. You know I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I love that Stormtrooper helmet. That's fucking awesome. So here we go. The tangs love this. They're waiting. See, look at them. They see me. They can see me as well as I can see them. They know this is gonna happen. You got... Oh, sorry, dudes. Sorry. I freaked out. They see it. Come on. What is this? What is this? The follower, he's waiting. He knows. As soon as I put my hand in here, you're going to see the naso. He's going to attack it. He's going to go nuts. He loves this stuff. I only feed this and Rod's food. Thanks for joining the live stream. I just thought I would stream with you guys while I'm doing some maintenance here and feeding these dudes. Finally, I surpassed 7,000 subscribers. Never thought that would happen. I'm still a very small fish in a very large ocean. That was stupid because we're doing saltwater aquarium care, but whatever. But it's true. So let me feed these dudes. Hey man, what's up? What's up, dude? He knows it's gonna happen. So rubber band this daily. It's very cheap. Watch them go nuts. And because the tangs are herbivores, they love those greens. Hopefully this video quality looks pretty good. I don't know how it looks. I don't know if it's a little jittery or what. I'm using my phone to broadcast. It works pretty well. Again, I haven't seen it. So this stuff is really inexpensive. I think it costs like, I don't know, a couple dollars a week to feed them, maybe $1. These collard greens are really inexpensive. Thanks, Ivan. I'm glad the video is good. Bob, I do not have a refugium. I used to. That's another good way to reduce nitrates. I tried the refugium thing, and I noticed that a lot of their fish waste and uneaten food was getting trapped in that refugium because the refugium was growing, and even though I removed the Chaeto, I was seeing that second sump that I had just as a refugium was really getting cluttered with garbage, and I didn't like it, so I just took all the Chaeto out and I threw it in the tank here, and they ate it, and that's the end of that. So yes, somebody, I just saw it fade away, someone asked about mechanical filtration, and I'm not using sump socks. I haven't used sump socks in about a year. I got sick of cleaning them. What I did for sump socks was I had like 10 of them, and I'd get home and I'd replace a sump sock, and I would just like throw it in a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot, and then put a new sock in. The socks did a really great job. Every 3 days I would take a sock out, put a sock in, take a sock out, put a sock in. So I had 10. Pete, I'm going to answer that question next about Marine Pure. Right now I do not, and I'll tell you why. So then after about 30 days, I would take all those dry socks, turn them inside out. It was nasty. All the nasty fish crap dust was everywhere. I was breathing it. I'd have a mask on or put my shirt over my face. I'd throw them in the washing machine, which my wife absolutely loved, by the way. But I did it anyway, because you got to clean them, right? And then I would do 4 rinse cycles on water only and a little bit of bleach, like 2 capfuls. But that wasn't proven to kill anything on the socks, so I just used 4 rinse cycles, and then my socks were good as new. Well, as you guys know, I use the rotor tube now, and all it is a 3-inch PVC clear tube that has mechanical filtration in it. I simply take the tube off, take the end off, put new filter media in, which is foam, every 3 days, and connect it back up. It's connected right to my overflows. It's awesome. So that's what I'm using. The Marine Pure. I used to use Marine Pure, and I had a video on it, and I'm not using Marine Pure anymore because after about 9 months of the Marine Pure block, this is before I had the refugium, the Marine Pure block didn't help me. And I actually put 2 Marine Pure blocks in. I had one for 9 months and the second one for about 6 months. So I had 2 Marine Pure blocks in this 125-gallon aquarium for about 9 months of Marine Pure. It did nothing. In fact, my nitrates went up by like 10 points. And I reached out to Marine Pure, and I'm like, this product is supposed to be awesome. People rave about it. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I just simply put it in there. Yeah, watch the aluminum. Yeah, I've heard about that too. That's something else I thought of. I don't know if it's true or not about the aluminum, but I got rid of the Marine Pure blocks, and it held a lot of fish crap and uneaten food again. I mean, think about it. Over time, as small as those pores are in that fabulous Marine Pure block, don't you think they get like clustered up and cluttered up with uneaten food and dissolving fish waste. I don't know. I was kind of getting nervous, like what if this is a nitrate factory, you know? People freak out about canister filters, and yet I'm putting porous blocks in my sump that I'm not really cleaning. And I take a turkey baster and I blow off the rock, and all the... What's up? George, what's up, dude? So I blow off the turkey baster. I blow off the rock with a turkey baster. Brian, that's awesome. You got 5 blocks in your 480 gallon. That's killer. I'm glad it's working for you. And a 480 gallon tank. Pat, I didn't see. I'm sorry. I'm not watching the chats. What did you just say? I think you said something like every couple months you got to rinse out the block in aquarium water. Yeah. The Marine Pure blocks are really brittle, by the way. You know what, dude? I miss Mahoney too. That dude, you know what he's doing? He's got his own channel now called Angry Dummy Gaming, and he games on Twitch. Yeah. So that's what he's been doing. He's too busy. He does make appearances once in a while on the Reef Tank channel, but he started his own Twitch channel and he games online. And he's also on the Joker box here and there too. But yeah, he misses you too. He thinks about you a lot. So this tank looks awesome. I did dose, for those of you guys just tuning in, I use sugar, but I got this from an Amazon gift card from Will Santiago, very much appreciated. The stuff smells like violent turpentine. You think turpentine is bad? This is violent turpentine, and it even says, warning, flammable liquid and vapor. Well, as soon as you crack the cap, you know that it's violent. But it's my 3rd day of dosing now with that stuff, and I have not tested the nitrates, but I'm going to next weekend. I just wanted to clean the tank, show it off, and I figured, hey, haven't done a live stream in a while, let's see what it's like with the phone. And phone is awesome. So maybe every weekend I'll just stream. I got to do a water change anyway. I'll just spend like 20 or 30 minutes with you guys streaming a water change. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but at least you guys can talk amongst yourselves, and you can, you know, ask me questions or whatever. Hey Rodney, you know what? This color right here, that's completely covered in Coraline. All this shade right here that you see, it's kind of hard with the ATI bulbs, but this whole rock is purple. See if I can get closer. I'll just take the phone off. These coral branches were white, but now they're all purple. Can't see anything that way. See all the purple? It's all purple. All this rock is purple. Okay, look. It used to be white like that, and now it's all purple. Was looking at the tank. Do you remove from the tank? What do you mean, remove what? I don't have any Coraline on the glass, if that's what you mean. I don't give it a chance to grow on the glass. I scrape it off right away. Oh yeah, okay. I scrape it off right away. Let me show you. See, there's a better view of the Coraline on the outside of the Overflow. See how it's spreading? But what little bit gets on the glass, I scrape it off right away with a scraper, and that way it populates through the tank and it lands on rocks, and then it continues to grow and spread. So I bought one little rock with Coraline algae on it because I thought it looked cool when I started my 28 gallon. Thanks, Rodney. Doctor of Welsh Magic, dude, what's up? Good, I'm glad you're here. You know, I'm just doing water change, and I thought I would try streaming off my phone because we don't do Friday night streams anymore, so I'll just hang out with you guys. The house is quiet. I thought I'd take advantage of that. Maybe I'll do it every weekend. We'll see. I didn't set out the alert, but I'll let you guys know. Yeah, so when I started out my 28-gallon aquarium, I didn't know anything about this stuff, obviously, and they're like, you gotta buy live sand, you gotta buy live rock. And I bought live rock that was purple, and I didn't know anything about quarantining, and they didn't tell me about quarantining, and basically all my fish died because that rock came from water because the whole reef store was infected with marine velvet. Didn't know that. And they didn't tell me what ick was or marine velvet. And I showed them pictures of my fish, and not one person at the store gave me ideas. They probably didn't want to let me know that they screwed me. So anyway, I did get Coraline algae from one rock about the size of a baseball, and it spread through my tank. Everything you see that's purple, like this rock, it's spread through my tank. I love Coraline algae. A couple things that really wanted me to get into the aquarium hobby were these guys, the clowns. Fucking love them. I love all my fish, but oh, I love these clowns. And the star polyps, I said, gotta have that. I love the star polyps, and I love the Coraline algae. I'm not too big into coral. I love it. I'm getting more into it, but the fish are my thing mainly. This tank just looks, I'm not being conceited, but I'm proud of it. It looks fucking awesome. I love this. I love these guys. The fowlery tang right here, this dude, he's like an impulse buy, and I've had him for 2.5 years now. The Naso was an impulse buy, didn't need a fish, but I went into a store that was a very small store in the area, very inexpensive. I don't know if they're there anymore. It was kind of run down, but the fish were gorgeous. This dude and the sailfin tang were an impulse buy. Hey Rodney, what's up? I have 5 clowns in the tank, and yeah, they all get along really good, and they've been together for a year. People say it's just a matter of time before they go nuts and kill each other. I haven't seen that at all. You know, just a little bit of dominance, meaning they'll slightly vibrate maybe once in a while when they get next to each other. You've seen how when clowns get next to each other, one of them will vibrate, and that's just being submissive. Like, hey, I don't mean you any harm. Usually the males will vibrate to show submissiveness to the female. I get that once in a while, which isn't bad. So I've got 2 Oscillaris clowns that I've had for maybe, I don't know, 3 years now. They always hang out in the corner. They come down once in a while. I've got a Picasso and 2 Da Vinci's. And I had 6. I had an extra Da Vinci clown, and he passed away. He was a smaller guy. And I found him on top of the high door power head. He just passed away. I hated seeing that. He was kind of a loner. He stuck by himself, and so anyway, I have 5 clowns. Yes, Patty, I did put them. I'm sorry. I had the 1 pair of clownfish in here for about a year and a half. They came from my 75-gallon tank, and I put the 2 Oscillaris clowns, the pair, boy and girl. They were in here on their own for that long period of time. And then I put the 4, the Da Vinci and the Picasso pair in, all 4 of them at the same time. I bought the 4 of them for my 45-gallon JBJ. I decided to tear that down. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go for it. Let me put them all in together and hope for the best. And I was ready with a net for about an hour, and they were fine. For about a couple of weeks, they stayed at separate sides of the tank. if you do want to try it, it is recommended that you have a larger aquarium so they can have their own territories to retreat through. I figured 6 feet is good enough, and luckily I've had no issues, except for the one dying, but he died on his own terms, unfortunately. I love the clowns, and I want to get more to put in here. I kind of thought about, if I get a bigger aquarium, as Scott from Mile High Reefers says, and I agree, 2 aquariums is too much. It's hard to handle one. It's a lot of fun, but I can focus on one and have fun with it. 2 aquariums, I find that I'm constantly cleaning and I can't truly enjoy them. I give you guys a lot of props for those who have 2 or even more aquariums. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I've got a lot going on, and the dogs are actually priority. I only spend about an hour a week on the tank, maintaining it. A lot more time than that, though, enjoying it. I don't have ick in here. It's totally ick-free, so I don't have to get paranoid or worried. I can just simply sit in front of it and enjoy it. Yeah, you know, if you've got... My brother had the same issue, Rodney, with his... and Patty with his clowns. He tried it, and they all get along well, except for this... I can't remember. I think it was a tomato clown. That guy fought everybody. Even his nasotang. When the nasotang went after the seaweed, the garlic... The tomato clown loved the seaweed, and it would go after the much larger fish, the naso. You know, at the end of the day, people, animals, they're going to have their own personalities, and you're going to get a bully. Also, if you're going to introduce a fish, you should introduce the yellow tang last, because they are bastards, notorious for being territorial, and bastards. Now, I got the naso tang and the sailfin tang the same day. I put these guys in. Naso was an impulse buy. The sailfin was an impulse buy. Totally didn't need another fish in this tank. What did I do? I bought the naso and the sailfin the same day, like a year ago now, something like that. And this yellow dude was already in the tank, and he didn't bother them. He nipped at the sailfin tang a few times, like, what the hell is this guy doing in my aquarium? And I thought I saw a little bit of aggression, but it was fine. Doctor of Welsh Magic, that's an excellent question. And yes, I was mistaking fighting for sorting things out. Thanks for pointing that out. Because I've seen fights, totally wasn't fighting. They were pecking at each other, swirling around each other in a quick circular fashion. So they were sorting things out, kind of saying, hey, I'm new. Yellow dude is like, I don't care, this is my tank, I just want to let you know. That went on for about a week. It calmed down after the second week. End of the third week, they're both cool. I mean, look at, this is how everybody always is. Everybody's cool like this. Never fights, never aggressions. Everyone's always just chill. I got lucky. I got the 5 clowns and everyone's really good. So I thought about, if I did get a bigger tank, I would put most of the tangs in a bigger tank, leaving maybe 1, depending on the size of the tank. And I would love to make this just an all clown tank. I just think that would be awesome. To have like 10 clowns in here. Now think of that. The bioload would be so small in this 125 gallon tank, even when they grew, the nitrates would be almost not much of an issue, so I wouldn't have to dose anything. You know how they say that smaller aquariums are more difficult to take care of because they're more unstable? I do believe that, because there's less water in the column to deal with, so things can get out of control really quick. But in my 28 gallon when I started, I was doing like, think about it, I was doing a 50% water change every week, and then every other week. So it's 10 gallons in a 28 gallon tank. With all the rock I had, it was about a 40 or 50% water change, no more than that. So everything was really stable. Now, a 10 gallon water change in a 120 gallon aquarium like this isn't going to do much of anything. Yeah, bigger is better. I agree with that, Bob. But I'm just saying that I was doing a 50% water change every week. Now, if I did less than that, I would have seen a problem. So yeah, based on what Bob just said, you can see why I have, I'm guessing, a nitrate issue, because I keep on top of this tank. I vacuum it, clean it, everything daily. Not daily. I'm not even thinking. I'm focusing on chat right now. Weekly. So a 10-gallon water change isn't going to do much, but allow me to vacuum out the crap from the sand, stir it up, replace the filter media, which is every 3 days actually, and get back some of the calc and the calcium and the magnesium and all that stuff in the water, the trace elements that I need through a 10-gallon water change using Red Sea REEF Pro Salt, which I love. Instant Ocean regular for years. Started with it, loved it, kept going with it. Now I'm doing Red Sea. I really like it. I like that I can do a water change literally an hour later if I want to. Is algae in a sump a must-have? What kind of algae? Are you talking like having a refugium? No, you don't need it. You don't need anything in your sump. Some people just don't even have a protein skimmer, which I would never not have a protein skimmer. But some people just have a sump and return heads, and that's it. A lot of people believe that the uneaten food that cycles through your tank is beneficial to coral and fish and other things that live in the sand, and I totally agree with that. But my tank is a lot clearer now with the rotor tube, or just saying mechanical filtration, and a protein skimmer gets all the stuff out of your water before it has the chance to break down. I always think of ways of how I can completely have everything go through a protein skimmer, like connecting your overflows to the protein skimmer somehow. Because let's face it, a lot of water rushes past that protein skimmer. I just saw a chat disappear. It looked like Bob said something about micro bubble scrubbing. I haven't tried it, but I don't see the harm in it. The only time I have tried it is when I have a little less water in the sump and the return pumps are skimming up air and water, because I have to put a gallon of water in this tank, fresh water, every day. That's how fast it evaporates ever since I removed these lids. And I don't see anything wrong with the micro bubble scrubbing. I really don't. Aaron's aquarium, I remember seeing a video from him. He was one of the ones who started it, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong. I didn't see many videos on it, but I remember Aaron talking about it. It looked like a good idea to me, and it makes sense. All the bubbles that flow through your tank, they stick to things after all, and then they raise to the top and they get taken out through the overflows. That's how protein skimmer works. It oxygenates your tank and it takes up all that stuff. I think it's a great idea. I have not put any bubble stones or rocks or anything in my sump, so I just kind of let the water level get low. I know it could damage the return pumps, but I only run it like that for 10 minutes, once a week maybe. But I think it's a great idea. I'm gonna look into it more and try it out. I mean, look how chilled out everybody is. This is how they are all the time. I'd love to get a larger tank for them, but it's just not in the cards. Just not in the financial budget right now. There's just no way. You know, money's tight. You guys know the deal. It's all tight for all of us. And with the 2 dogs and other expenses, I just can't have a second tank. I don't make a lot of money on YouTube, contrary to popular belief. I do a lot of research on website building, design. I've been building websites for 20 years. Search engine optimization, keywording techniques, long and tail word keywords, tags, video descriptions. I do a lot of research on it and I put it to use all the time. Even with all that said, at the end of the day, you've got to be entertaining, you've got to have good content, you've got to upload regularly, and you've got to stay on top of it. It's a lot of hard work. It also helps if you're a young chick with big breasts. Let's be honest. That's why some of them have, you know, large, massive followings, and their content sucks, quite frankly. Am I jealous? Nope. Because I wouldn't want to be a girl, because makeup is expensive. So do the best you can. I'm very thankful for having subscribers like you guys and girls. It means an awful lot. I'm by no means a professional. There are a lot of people in this hobby that'll kick my ass. And to be honest, I really don't care. I have fun, and I like to do video production. I've been doing it for 30 years, along with photography and audio engineering. So I like to just show what I do. And if you guys weren't as responsive and as cool as you are, I'd be out of here. Oh, thank you, Patty. I don't know if she's seen me with makeup on when I do the Joker channel. That's another thing that happened accidentally. It turns out I do a pretty good Joker impression, and I tried doing the makeup. It's not elegant makeup, it's sinister makeup, so I'm not that pretty. But I love my fish, and I never, ever thought I'd get a following like this. I was happy to get 50 subscribers. I couldn't believe when I got 100. That took forever. But you guys are awesome, and I just made over 7,000 subscribers. So thank you. Jacob, how many clownfish can you have in one tank? You know, people say no more than a pair. And I read for weeks, and I researched for weeks, and people say no more than a pair of clowns. Because they are territorial, and they will fight, especially if you have an anemone in the tank. They will guard that thing, and God forbid you put other clowns in there. It could be a brawl. So, they say if you've got a large tank, especially a wide one, this one's 6 feet long, you can house a couple pairs of clownfish. And I talked with Scott from Mile High Reefers a lot, and Scott has a couple pairs, and he said it's fine. But I also read online, other people say it's fine. I've also read where people say never do it. They will kill each other to the death. My guys are fine. I have 5 clowns in there. It's not equal pairs, and they're fine. So Dino just asked, is my biopellet reactor finally kicking in, and is it keeping the nitrates down? Hell no. I just did a nitrate test a few days ago. The nitrates are still at 20, possibly 25 or 30. It's not doing anything. The only thing that does anything for this tank is carbon dosing, and that's sugar. I use that Microbacter 7. I was excited to get it. Hey Rico, what's up, dude? Frozen versus pellet food, any difference? Let me talk on that next. It's not doing anything. So I'm gonna give it another month. I'm gonna pull it. I think I'm just gonna say screw this. I'll save a little bit of electricity. I'm gonna take that biopellet reactor out. I don't understand why people say biopellets crash their tank. It's like I got nothing. It's like I got nothing going on. It does nothing for me. Other people, you know, die by biopellet reactors. That's why I don't have reactors or anything in my tank. I prefer the natural method. Think about it. If you dose this, you get a counter dose with this, then you get a dose with this and that and this thing. Let me just have nothing except the protein skimmer and water changes. And guess what? Everything's awesome. I'm only going to dose sugar or the Nopox by Red Sea to keep those nitrates in check. Again, like I'm going to say, if I didn't have all these beautiful tang fish, I'd be golden. Let me connect the power source to this phone so I don't die on you guys. Hey everybody. Alright. So I had to connect the power source because I'm streaming off my phone. So somebody asked, is frozen food better or pellet food. Well, that depends on what kind of food you get. My personal favorite is Rod's food. I only feed this tank Rod's food. In fact, I'll do it now. They go absolutely nuts for it. Hey, do you know the tank is 6 feet long? Pellet food, I don't use anything but New Life Spectrum. I'm not getting paid to say this. I love it. The pellets, one thing I don't like about these is they float on the top. They have a tendency to float on the top if you don't soak them well enough. And then they go into your overflow and then they get trapped in there and whatever. But I'll put a little bit of these in there. So I use New Life Spectrum once in a while. But all I really use is from the supermarket, grocery store, bok choy and collard greens for the tangs because they're herbivores. That's all I feed. They love it. That will look like this in another hour. It'll be gone. The only other thing I feed is Rod's food. I love it. And I did a whole long video with Rod. I love that guy. I hung out with him. I'm in touch with him here and there. He's a killer guy. The process of how they make the food is awesome. And you can watch that video. He describes the process, how it's frozen. And also, by the way, if you use Rod's food or any frozen food, especially Rod's, do not rinse it first. He highly recommends you do not rinse it because you're rinsing away a lot of the beneficial stuff for the fish and the copepods and everything else that his food feeds. Why don't I get more corals? That's a really good question. When I do get more coral, I'm going to get it from Coral Lust. I got some coral from Danny before, and I love it. He does a really great job. His stuff is clean. Oh, someone just jumped out of there. Almost. Looked like, sounded like. I am afraid to put anything in this tank because this tank is on severe lockdown. Plus, I don't have much money for corals. I'm pretty broke, to be honest. But I want to put together a quarantine for coral because there's no way I'm putting coral in this tank. I will not risk coming right home and putting any fish or coral in this tank because I don't want to risk bringing contaminated water. Jacob, how long would you say it can take a clownfish to host an anemone? That's a really good question. I had an anemone in here that did pass away, and my clownfish never hosted it. They would swim by it. I never saw them in it. A lot of people, from what I've seen, it takes about 9 months. It could take a month. It depends on your clowns, really. I love this tank. 6 feet long. It's just perfect. Let me get some Rod's food. You're going to see these guys go nuts. I always turn off. What's up, dude? Thanks. Rodney, that's really cool. My guys never did. I'm really happy with the way the tank looks. I'm going to do a nitrate test next weekend after dosing this No-Pox by Red Sea. I just did my daily dose now. The tank looks really clear. I can't wait to kill these damn nitrates off. Oh, you want to see the sump? Okay, there's not much to see, but let me show you. See, I'm not like a really complex reefer. I'll show you how basic this sump is. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. All right. Here is my biopellet reactor by Reef Octopus. It's doing absolutely nothing. These biopellets have been in here for 2 months. They're churning really well. I gotta clean this up. Sorry for the mess. It's the Microbacter, and I threw all my fish stuff in here. No, I didn't look at that ATM stuff. No, I did look at it, but I didn't get it. Doctor, I did not. So, this is my sump. Really basic. It's my original, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's my original eShops sump. I think it's 20 gallons. The water level is a little higher than what I like it. Here's the water line, but I like to keep it right above here. It's an inch higher because I just did a water change. How often do I clean my sump? Dino, do you think so, man? Do you think so? I've been thinking about that, dude. Okay. Here's my protein skimmer, which is currently turned off. I'm going to turn it back on now. I turned the protein skimmer off. Alright, Dino. Dude, if my tank gets sick, it's going to be your ass, dude. Everybody, Dino Fernando. He said to put a blue tang in, and it'll be fine. And I agree with him. It's a must-have tank. Alright, Doctor. I'm going to address that in a second. So let me just finish talking about this sump. I got this as my very first sump. I think it's a 25 gallon. It's basic. It only has one tube coming in, which I split between the two returns. Water is flowing through foam that I have sitting on top of an egg crate that I built with zip ties. Very important to keep the foam or any filtration media out of the water column. This does two things. It oxygenates your water. It won't focus, but the water is dripping through like an algae scrubber. And I will rinse this out every 3 days. I'm going to rinse that out under fresh water. I don't care if it kills the bacteria. That's not what I'm using it for. I just want it to capture the solids. It goes through there, the water is oxygenated because it drips on here, in here. And then my protein skimmer skims the water. And then I've got some, which this has to be replaced as well, some media to filter through before it gets into my return pumps. That's all it is. Really simple. Doc, that's a beautiful amount of fish. Those are the ones that I would want. How often do I clean this protein skimmer? I'm sorry. I'm trying to read the chats. How often do I clean the sump? Once a year. I still have to take everything out. And hose this down and wipe it down with vinegar, and I'm going to do that. But I vacuum the sump out too. You know, like once or twice a month, I'll do a water change from the sump. That's why it looks kind of clean. Somebody asked about, let me turn this protein skimmer on. I turn off the protein skimmer and the power heads. I'm sorry, the return pumps when I do a water change. Here we go, we started it up. Alright, that dude's back on. I don't like this extra hosing. This is coming off the biopellet reactor, the water returning from the biopellet reactor. This hose goes down, as you can see, to the intake of the protein skimmer. That's how you want it. It's starting to overflow a little bit because the water level's too high. So I'm going to turn that off. I don't want that nasty water getting into my water column. So once the water dips down to about here in the sump from evaporation, it'll be safe to turn it back on. So let me ask you guys this. I'm going to sit down. Tank doesn't look as good now. Dino says I need to get a blue tang. Now, a lot of you guys think that the powder blue tangs and the blue tangs are ick magnets, and you'd be right. But with proper quarantining procedures, do you believe that it would be okay to put a blue tang or a powder blue tang known as ick magnets in your tank. If I say no, I'd be contradicting everything I believe because my ick eradication method works. I wrote a book, it's on Amazon, you can get it for a couple bucks. It's like 40 pages, and I have no ick in this tank. No, you're fine, Jacob, that's fine. Don't put any more fish in there though. Keep up on your water changes and everything, you'll be fine. Yeah, Doc, I know you do. So what do you think, man? What do you think? Do you think if I quarantine the hell out of that blue tang that I could put him in here? What do you think? I got a 40-gallon ready to go. I'll take some of this filter media out to start the biological process. Expert Aquatic. All I feed my fish is this, which I get from the grocery store. You can make a salad out of it. They eat what we eat. Bok choy. Awesome, Rodney. So, a lot of chats came up. Bok choy, collard greens, and Rod's food, which I'm going to feed in a minute. That's it. I didn't see the last couple of chats that came in. As soon as they come in, they disappear after 5 seconds because I'm on the iPhone. Do I ever go on Rico's Reef Tank channel? I don't. But I'll check it out. Jacob, good question. Do I have a cleanup crew? I don't. I do not. I do not. People say you should have a cleanup crew because it cleans up the sand and the rocks and gets rid of all the detritus, which is fish crap and uneaten fish food. It's a great idea. But you know what I do? I just stir up the sand bed a little bit. I blow off the rock with turkey baster. That's it. Jim, how long did you quarantine your brown tang for? Yeah, I know Scott and I are cool. I gotta call him. We've been in touch for a long time, as you guys know, and he tells me to get the blue tang from time to time, and I don't know. I know they're ick magnets, but if I kept that dude in there, I saw you guys chatted a couple times on 2 months. All right, Jim. Yeah, Dino, I know that fish is gorgeous. Because I know if a fish does not have ick, it will never get it. If you do not introduce ick into the tank, it will not get it. If I pour myself a glass of water from my faucet, Expert Aquatic, I'm going to do a video on the RODI unit. Because that back room is so messy, and I don't have good reception, so I'll lose the stream here. Hey Doc, that's what I'm thinking. I have a 40-gallon downstairs. Yeah, right, if he's still alive. And I will just keep him in there with cupramine for like 8 weeks minimum. Probably 10. Hey Jacob, I used to have an eel in here, and I loved them. And I got rid of them because a friend wanted them, and they didn't have any in the area they lived in, so I got rid of them after like a couple weeks, but I absolutely loved them. Can't remember which one I got. He was a foot long. Cannot remember what the name of him was. Get dry rock, you know, never go live. See a expert aquatic. I wouldn't recommend getting live rock if you already have fish in that tank. If you have no fish, go with the live rock. Eels can grow big depending on which one you get. They are not supposed to be fish eaters because they're blind. Well, if you have no fish, you know you can get it. Yeah, Roscoe, I wouldn't get the blue powder tang even though they're gorgeous. I would just get a regular blue tang. As you guys know, my tank is already filled with too much fish. I might get a blue tang, I don't know. But I'll quarantine his ass for 10 weeks, minimum, maybe 12. Those guys are ick magnets. I gotta keep them in a mild copper solution for 6 weeks minimum. I'd probably do it for 10 to 12. I can't risk this tank. This tank is completely locked down. Like I said, you will not get ick if you do not introduce ick. If I go out to the store now and I get a coral, and I put the coral in my tank, people say that corals do not take ick parasites with them. That's true. But what if the water column in the store that they were in was infected with ick parasites? It only takes 1 drop of water. I mean, I could do a quick dip with the solution on the market, and then I could also dip the coral for a few seconds in a couple bowls of fresh water. That would still make me nervous. I'd want to have a separate tank to QT corals with no fish in it and no copper, of course, for 6 weeks before I put them in here. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not worth your fish dying. Yeah, Jim, that's a great idea. And that's what I would do too. Just use the water from the main tank as a water change or to start your quarantine tank. Jacob, that is totally right. Ick will never appear in your tank, and I want to finish my example of that. If I have bottled water and I take it out of the fridge and I drink it, or I leave it on the counter for a month, and the kids run past it, my dogs run past it, there's a loud noise, stress in the house. You think ick's going to just magically appear in that bottled water? Nope. A lot of people say that stress causes ick. That's bullshit. Stress does not cause ick. If a fish has ick and it gets stressed, it'll weaken its immune system and allow the ick to eat the fish more. But there again, the stress has nothing to do with ick. Ick is a parasite and nothing more. A parasite cannot just magically appear. You know, if you have termites in your house and they keep breeding and eating the wood, your house will eventually be completely destroyed. That's right, Doc. If you don't allow termites in your house, if there's a way you could do that, they won't breed and they won't eat the wood and you'll be fine. Stress does not magically cause termites to appear. If you have a friend and they have termites in their jacket and they come over, or lice, your kids are going to be infected by lice because some other kid in the school is a carrier. That's what we're talking about. That's why I don't risk any water coming in from a reef store. I don't put any damn fish in my tank. I quarantine their ass first for 6 to 8 weeks minimum. Everybody in here has been quarantined for weeks before they saw the display tank. All the rock in here that you see was started out as dry rock. The sand comes from a bag that's safe. Parasites aren't going to live on it. I get dead sand. I let the stuff grow on its own. Also, if you get live sand in a bag, most of that stuff is dead anyway, which could cause your tank to go through some nasty cycle because a lot of that stuff is dead. You don't want to put dead stuff in your tank. You know, regardless of what reef stores say, just don't listen to them. Quarantine everything. They could have come from the Philippines, they could have come from Australia, they could have come from Hawaii, they could have come from Gulf of Mexico. You know, you don't ever know. So just treat each fish pretending that it has possible ick. Quarantine their ass and you'll be fine. Don't allow anything in your tank. I don't care what anybody says, what any reef store says. Quarantine every fish and don't ever think, oh, it'll be fine. Yeah, they do. The doc's right. They use cyanide to catch a lot of these fish, which sucks. And a lot of these fish die. Most of them die. Think about it. They use cyanide to catch them. It knocks them out. They almost die. They're taken from their families. They don't eat. Half of them are on their deathbed when they're introduced to the cyanide because you think they dose the proper levels. They don't. They don't care. Jacob, good question. How do you do a quarantine tank? A quarantine tank is nothing more than a second tank. It's a hospital tank. And if you want to read more on this, I've got videos, or I have a book on Amazon that's really cheap, like a couple bucks. Every video in the video description has a link to that book. But I've got a lot of videos on it. Basically, a quarantine tank is just a second aquarium that is not in any way connected with this first aquarium. You want to keep them separated. So if they have a disease or a parasite, it stays in that tank. You want to keep that fish eating, rested, and parasite free. And the way you do it is you get yourself some copper by Sechem or cupramine. That's what it's called in the hobby. Cupramine. I don't ever recommend dosing the full amount of copper because it's very toxic stuff and it will kill fish right away. It destroys their nervous system and their organs. So it's very hard to dose the stuff, so I just dose 50% of the recommended dosage based on gallons of your tank, and it works great. Do a water change every other day on that quarantine tank and dose the copper for 2 weeks. It's a mild copper solution at 50%, but it's enough to kill parasites. Parasites eat your fish, they live inside your fish, they host your fish. And when they come out after a couple days of feeding on your fish, they'll be killed by the copper. That's the only thing that kills these things. Also, fresh water kills these parasites, but you can't have your fish in fresh water. So keep your fish in the copper mild solution for a couple weeks. Let them in the water, salt water for another week. Dose them again for another couple weeks, copper for another 2 weeks. Then dose them in regular salt water. That's what I do. 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And if he doesn't have any bumps on his body, which is the parasite, it looks like salt flecks or sugar, he's good to go. I keep him in there for 8 weeks when you get a new fish. If he looks good, he is good. Jacob, that's a good question. The copper will not spread. What I do is the last 2 weeks I don't have copper in the tank, so the fish is good. But I also put him in a smaller tank or something that will house him for like a minute, and that's a freshwater bath. And then I have another small tank with water from the display tank that I put him in so he gets used to the water, so I don't just throw him in and shock him. So the display tank has got the quarantine tank has got copper in it. Then I give him a freshwater swim for about a minute to get the copper residue off of him. And then I throw him in fresh water for like a minute. And then I put him in the display tank after 8 weeks. Do I acclimate everything? No. Well, yes, I do, over the course of 10 minutes. I don't drip acclimate. Hey, Shady Reef, what's up, dude? I don't acclimate over the course of hours or drip acclimate like a lot of reefers do. I literally just acclimate between 2 Rubbermaid containers that Cool Whip used to be in over the course of 5 minutes. I'm gonna go off the chat here in about 5 minutes. Wow, I've been on here for 90 minutes. That's cool. Oh, let me feed some rods food before I go, because I gotta eat too, and I got other things I gotta do. So those of you who just joined, thank you. Those of you who've been watching, thank you. I'm gonna feed these guys rods food, and then I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna get the food. Alright guys, I got Rod's food here. I'm going to finish up the video with that. I'm going to put my MP40 on feeding mode so it's less waves in there. Once I put this in the tank, they're going to go nuts. They're waiting. I use Rod's food mainly for the clownfish. Of course, the tangs go nuts for it. I really only feed the tangs, the bok choy, or the collard greens from the grocery store because they're herbivores. Rod's food is mainly for the clowns, which is why I move my hand around, because the tangs try and get everything. I try and trick them because the clowns stay in the back, and I want to make sure the clowns get food. And that tank looks really good. It looks better in person, but this looks really good. So I'm going to put the top screening on. This broadcast went way longer than I expected. I didn't alert any of you guys. I just thought I would do my weekly 15 minutes maintenance with a 10-gallon water change, and it went way overboard. Doc, it was awesome to see you, man. Awesome to see you other guys. Sorry I missed some of the other questions. I was busy doing this. Feeding and cleaning and maintenance. But I'm glad I got to hang out and answer some questions. Man, an hour and a half. That's cool. Thanks for watching. See you guys. And I'll have a new video for you next Saturday. Take care, dudes. Dudettes.